for the month of September. It has been tremendous, and we're so happy to be with you tonight for another edition of the United Podcast. A quick look at your rundown before we get into our show tonight. So much going on as we recap the homecoming festivities. President Dr. Iwanenko going to join us in literally 30 seconds from now. Big free throw-a-thon preview. A lot of our athletic programs are getting into their give days on Saturday that will transition into their fundraising efforts next week and the week after and beyond in the fall semester. So we're going to be talking to women's basketball who get ready for their free throw-a-thon. We'll see if anybody can break Carissa Dunham's record that was set last year for consecutive free throws. And good news, folks, the top 5 plays of the week is back. We got a couple of crazy goals, a great save, and some touchdown runs along the way to get you ready for our top 5 plays of the week. But we're kicking off the show right out of the gate with none other than President Dr. Walter Iwanenko, who has to wear the shades because I put him in the sun tonight. But they look good on you. I think it's a good look.
This is incredible. This is the best time to be in Erie, PA,
isn't it?
The view. I wish the folks that were seeing us and listening to us can actually see the sun starting to set. It's incredible.
Man, I'll tell you what. I have a lot of future ambitions. 10, 15, 20 years from now. Every time I come here, my future ambition becomes to own a boat, sit on a boat every night at 6:00, and do nothing but just sit and watch.
Well, I have to tell you, my ambition is to have a really good friend that has a boat so I can come and sit,
good point.
But not have to pay for the boat.
That's a good point. As long as you have the friends, right? The boats,
That's
the
right.
jet skis, the water equipment. Yeah, that you got to just know, have friends in low places or high places in this case. But it's beautiful tonight. We're kicking it with Dr. Iwanenko to start off this show. And I think it was only appropriate, we come off of homecoming weekend, and we talked about it on this show from Gannon as a whole for weeks upon weeks upon weeks about the centennial homecoming celebration was going to be bigger than anything we'd ever seen before. And we listed all the events, and we knew there was going to be a lot of things from the tailgate to the games to the block party to the centennial mass. And you look back at everything that went on and the participation and whatnot. Take me through what homecoming weekend was like for you.
This was the biggest and most well-attended homecoming that we've ever had, and that includes the tailgate, the block party. I want to back up a little bit because
Sure.
I've been at Gannon now. This is my 3rd year as president. That was 5 years as provost. When I first started at Gannon, we had no tailgate.
Yeah.
There were some parents that got together with some coolers on a table in a parking lot. So some of us got together and said, hey, let's have a tailgate. We got a grill, a couple cars. Every year it got a little bit bigger, and it's gained momentum to what we had this year. And it started, our homecoming actually started Friday, where we had a wonderful DA dinner welcoming a new group of distinguished alumni. At lunch, we had our heritage luncheon where we welcome back alumni, 50-year graduates of Gannon. And then you go right into Saturday with this incredible tailgate. And I could not, between the tailgate and the block party, I could not take 10 steps without someone coming up and saying, I have not been to campus in years. This looks fantastic. Love Gannon. Love my experience. It's just incredible energy.
And the energy, I think, is the word that we talked about. It started from Friday night. It goes all the way through until Sunday. And there were so many things to talk about and be excited about. But for me, what I thought was most interesting, we had a couple of soccer alumni on the show the week before, and they were talking about, okay, coming back. It's not easy with schedules nowadays, right? We're all adults. We're all in our own world, doing our own things. Work is crazy busy. A lot of us have children, and that's crazy busy. But to be able to see everybody come back, not because they felt forced to participate, but because they wanted to participate, I think was something that was really, really neat to see.
It was incredible. And when on Saturday afternoon, we had a bunch of special Infinity Group get-togethers. And so, for example, people that used to serve on SGA and the Delta Sig fraternity had one. I spent an hour and a half just moving through all these Infinity Groups. And you're right, the bonds that were made at Gannon continue. And these are folks that graduated 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I mean, it was amazing, and I loved every minute of it.
So when you talk about the people who would come up to you and want to speak with you, I'm sure there were some stories that were shared. Do you remember a story in particular that someone stopped you and told you about that you'll remember?
Yeah, I will say there were two stories that stuck out. One was an alumni who was here in the late 60s, 70s, and he was in SGA. And they had an incident on campus where a black student was attacked, and they had worked with the administration, SGA, Student Government Association, to one of the great achievements was to have student representation on our board of trustees. And he walked me through the story on how that happened. That is still in place today. So we actually have a voting student government representative on our board of trustees.
Yeah.
So hearing that story, I'll say the other story where I actually is a mom came up, and her daughter's a current student at Gannon, and she came up to me, and I remember when I met her, when they were being recruited, she said, "No one else would take care of my daughter like you have," and not me personally, but Gannon University. And it just struck me, our why. Why are we here? We're here to care for our students.
No doubt. And the students were such a huge part. You're seeing some highlights from all of that, all of the students and men and women on homecoming weekend. Great crowds for all those teams as well. It was really, really neat to see. And I think the cool thing, too, was that there was something for everyone, right? I mean, you talked a lot earlier today about the trolley tours, that people keep telling you about the trolley tours. The block party was something else, and getting to see people attend that. What your favorite moment from homecoming? Was there anything in particular that stood out to you as the thing you'll remember most from the weekend as a whole?
Oh, boy, there were a lot of them. I will say seeing the crowds at the tailgate, fantastic. The block party, seeing all the students. Yeah. But for me, that Sunday mass where the Cardinal was here and our student athletes so well represented at the mass, the Cardinal, His Eminence Christophe Pierre, it was just special and very emotional. And what a way to kick off the homecoming, but also remember our 100-year centennial.
And let's talk more about the centennial, because it doesn't just stop after homecoming. We've been talking about it for months now. Of course, it really started with Day of Giving in April, and now here we are all the way into September. There's a lot more plans and excitement around the centennial celebration. It's hard to believe, number one, that we're already here, but this is going to be a year-long celebration.
It's going to continue right till the end of December, and we will wrap it up at the end of the year with some special celebrations. What we've been able to do throughout the centennial is to incorporate the spirit of the 100-year celebration into a lot of activities that we already have. I'm thinking we just announced our next Athletic Hall of Fame class,
right?
And they're part of this centennial celebration. And how cool is that?
It is neat, and I wanted to get your comments, if you would, quickly just on the Hall of Fame class. If you didn't see it, we just noted it on Wednesday in an article. 8 incredible former student athletes and some former coaches as well as part of this Hall of Fame class. I'll tell you what, I'm part of the committee. I'm lucky enough to be able to go through these names. I kind of sort them, categorize them. It is already difficult to pick from so many amazing student athletes, and when you look at the cream of the crop of what we're going to have in years to come, you could make the argument that you could have 30, 40 people every year that deserve to make it in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you also what's fun for me is now that I've been here, and this is my 9th year when you put everything together, I'm starting to remember some of them play.
Right.
So I'm like, I remember watching him or her play.
You're dating yourself a tad bit.
Oh, my gosh, it's been great.
Yeah. And it is neat. And again, you can find that Hall of Fame class on GannonSports.com. 8 members will be inducted on February the 21st. Let's talk a little bit more about other things that are coming up at Gannon. I do want to ask you first and foremost, the live stream that everyone's so excited about the move of the house. I think that's something that everyone's curious about. That's going to be the start of many projects that are either in construction or near to be completed around Gannon, which is neat.
Yeah, this project is in partnership with Mr. Tom Hagen, who really had the vision. If anybody's been in Erie and you've gone down 6th Street, you've seen how his vision has really transformed State Street or 6th Street. Mr. Hagen knows the history. He loves architecture, and he really believes that this beautiful home should be part of that 6th Street, which was the old Millionaires Row. So that home, the old Norman house, is being picked up They're using AI technology, robotics. It actually picks it up, turns it 180 degrees, and moves it over to 7th Street. That's happening Monday, which is September 22nd, beginning at 10 a.m. Here's the amazing part. Everything, from what they tell me, everything's done on an iPad.
Wow.
And it's going to take about 60 to 90 minutes to move this whole house over.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we expect, we're thinking a couple thousand people may show up.
I was going to say, it's going to be a big event. It's probably a little bit more powerful AI than ChatGPT, I would have to guess.
Yeah,
you don't just type it into a keyboard, say, hey, move house from west to east or east to west.
He could do a lot, but I don't think he can do that.
And that's, of course, one of the projects that's going on. We just talked about off air, the alumni house just getting recently completed. There's going to be an open house coming up really soon for faculty and staff. A lot of excitement surrounding that. And then, of course, a project that's been in the making for a couple of years now, set to open October 4th and 5th with Project Neptune.
Yeah, we're really excited. The Center for Lake Erie Education and Research, I've been in there. I've been trained on some of the equipment. One of the features of this space is a NOAA on a sphere, science on a sphere. So it's this beautiful globe that floats in the middle of the room. This particular system has 600 different data sets.
Wow.
So you can get in, you can see the surface of Mars, you can see how the Earth's crust is formed, open to the public. So during normal library hours, so you'd be able to take your kids there.
Bennett would love it.
Yeah, Bennett would love it. And it's a great asset. And there's only 206 of these in the entire world, and Erie has one. And the only one I've been to is at the Smithsonian in D.C.
That's something else.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, Dr. Iwanenko, you went through homecoming weekend, and I think one of the things you've talked about this year is you've seen so many students that have been proactive and excited about wanting to teach another generation. You told me a story about how you were, I don't know if it was Project Neptune or the college or somewhere, and there was a kid who got up at 4:30 in the morning, and he was trying to get some samples of water from different places around Erie so that he could show other kids. These projects, I think, to me, are just a microcosm of what the students around here and student athletes that we see every day, they're wanting to give back to others just as much as we give to them.
Yeah, there are incredible stories, and thank you for remembering that one. And that was related to Project Neptune. We had about 40 students coming in, students that are homeschooled, coming in with their families to get a sneak peek. And we had a student who actually went out and collected these samples 4:30 in the morning, so that he could show the students different water samples from different waterways. So what's it look like in a creek versus a lake versus a pond? Let's take that a step further. We've got Give Day that's coming up this weekend. We are in the community. We'll have well over 1,000 students in the community, just doing great work, giving up their time. There's nothing greater than someone's time. And when you make that commitment, it's an incredible gift, and it's an incredible opportunity for our students to learn more about the community. And there have been great examples. We had an example where we had a neighbor who it was an elderly couple, and their stairs were in disarray, and we had members of our athletic department go over there and rebuild their steps. That's a difference. That's making a difference in your community.
And we can't wait. Give Day going to be Saturday. We have so many of our athletic teams and other students around campus that are going to be a part of that. You can pretty much see them anywhere around downtown Erie and the surrounding area on Saturday, and be a part of it too. Be a part of Give Day. It's so important to give back to Erie. We, of course, in athletics, we have such an incredible staff, and it's been such a great start to the year, seeing all of our teams perform so well. But wanted to just get your thoughts so far on the beginning of the year from an athletics perspective. You and I have had conversations so much about how athletics has been changing, right? NIL is pretty obvious. You have the transfer portal window. Student athletes continue to move in and out of different universities. It is pretty cool, though, to see how consistent that this program specifically have been. Of course, coming off another Dixon Trophy championship. Take me through, in your mind, from the conversations maybe you've had with other presidents or members of the NCAA, why Gannon is so sufficient and successful at being able to maintain and retain, for the most part, compared to other universities.
I think it comes down to and student being first. So attract a student that says, look, I want to play softball, I want to play basketball, I want to wrestle, but I also want to be an engineer, I want to be a PA, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a philosophy major. There's the opportunity to compete at the athletic field or pool or arena, the mat, and still meet their goals, their academic goals and their professional goals. And we're committed to that.
It is neat, and we've seen already success by so many of our teams. We're going to get into just in a few minutes what we have on tap for this weekend, more home events as well. Homecoming was just the tip of the iceberg for what we have going on. It is so fun to get to see these teams compete night in, night out. A few minutes left here with Dr. Iwanenko before he heads out for hopefully a little bit of downtime after a really awesome homecoming weekend and not a lot of free hours on your schedule. But I think I'd be remiss if we didn't get a chance to mention really quickly the important stuff tonight, which is you and I sitting on our couches watching NFL football tonight. We got a resident Bills fan in the house. I'm for Pittsburgh. So let's dive in. As somebody who is probably, I would say, you're not a fair weather fan. You're a guy who's been there through and through. How do you like your team's chances this year?
I really like our chances as we've gone through the first couple games in the NFL. The Baltimore game, I think, I do believe that the road to the Super Bowl is going to happen through Buffalo. I think at this point, I think AFC is between Buffalo and Baltimore. Yeah, all the way. And when you look at, I still, I'm a Detroit Lions. I also like what they're showing. Mm-hmm. I think there's some possibility there, and that could be a Baltimore Lions, Bills. Well, let's just go with the Bills. Bills, Lions, Super Bowl. That's my prediction.
Could you imagine the scene in Santa Clara, California, if those two fan bases were there at the same time?
Hide your tables, people.
Oh my gosh. You talk about two fan bases that have gone through the ringer for 50 some odd years coming through at the same time. It would be really neat to see. And it's going to be exciting too. Of course, Buffalo and Pittsburgh play a little bit later this season. That's the beauty of this time of year. You have high school sports on Friday nights, NFL on Sunday, college on Saturday. Just so many incredible things going on. Before we let you go, Dr. Iwanenko, there's so many exciting things that we can be ready for Gannon throughout the rest of the upcoming year. Take me through what your outlook is on the year ahead and what you're looking forward to as we get ready for the end of 25 and into 26.
Well, as we talked about, we're going to be opening up Project Clear. We still got to finish. We're going to move that building, but then we have to work toward opening up. And I do want to say that building that we're moving is going to serve as a place where people can come and stay on campus. So it's going to serve almost like a Airbnb hotel situation that it'll be student run. So we're really excited about getting that launched. But one of the other big projects is our First Ascent project, where we will be having a biomedical company that treats cancer on our campus. That construction will be starting 100 jobs that will anchor people in downtown Erie and keep our graduates here, so they're contributing to the economic fabric of downtown Erie.
There is a reason, folks, why there's construction going on downtown. And you said it best before we started the show. It's a good thing that there are buildings that are being renovated, cranes up in the air. Yeah, it's a bit of a longer drive to work, but it'll be worth it in the future, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Dr. Iwanenko joining us on the program. It's always great to have you on, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
I promise you next time you won't have to worry about the shades.
I'll take this problem, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, the weather's not bad. We really can't complain. All right, great stuff, my friend. Thanks again for coming on.
Take care.
All right, Dr. Walter Iwanenko joining us on the show here on the United Podcast, brought to you by John Russell Hospitality.
At John Russell Hospitality, every restaurant tells a story of flavor, community, and unforgettable moments. From handcrafted meals to welcoming spaces, we bring people together around a table. John Russell Hospitality, where great food meets genuine companionship. Make sure to visit one of our 6 locations today.
All right, our thanks to Walter Iwanenko for joining us on the United Podcast. As he said, so much going on with Gannon University. Also, so much going on with what's on tap this weekend for Gannon University Athletics. Let's show you what we have going on. We'll start with football. They're at Kutztown this week looking for win number 1 of the season. That's a noon kick against the Golden Bears. September 20th is the date of the game. Men's and women's soccer are back in action. One team at home, one team on the road. Men's soccer is back home on Saturday. They get that should say 1 o'clock, not 12 o'clock. My apologies for the typo there. Men's soccer versus Westchester begins at 12, as does women's soccer. They're at Seton Hill all at 1 o'clock for a doubleheader there. Volleyball begins more tournament action this weekend with the West Liberty Invite and the Wheeling Invitational before Matt Darling's squad finally, at the end of the month on September 26th, returns home. It'll be the first time they've been home all season. We're nearly into October. Hard to believe right there. Men's water polo, they are inching closer as well for their first home event. That'll be Saturday after volleyball. So volleyball home opener and then senior day in the home opener for men's water polo on Saturday, but they're at the Bucknell Invitational. Two tough opponents, Air Force and Salem, who they will see in the WWPA Championships in November. That's coming up on the 21st. And then cross country on September 20th is at the YSU Alumni Cross Country Meet. Rob Aarons and company getting ready for another great performance after their race in the park a couple of weeks back. Let's take a look at the dish of the day since we haven't gotten to that just yet. Tell you what, folks, Pier 6 doesn't miss with the dish of the day, and they're not missing here. The Quinoa Fresco Bowl is our dish of the day today. All the ingredients you see in there, delicious on their own. When you combine them, oh my goodness, it's just melt in your mouth quality, and that's something you see with every single dish. In fact, I've got some mahi-mahi tacos in front of me at Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant right now that are calling my name too. So looking forward to diving into those, and also looking forward to featuring, as we do every single week, our dish of the day, the Quinoa Fresco Bowl. You can get it tonight at Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Grill. I can tell you, folks, it's a packed house in here right now. Not a lot of open tables, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't come and enjoy the atmosphere. It's in the 70s. The sun's shining. The water's glistening. There's really nothing bad about this place here in downtown Erie. So make sure to check out the Quinoa Fresco Bowl today. Hey, want to remind you as well that our golden ticket giveaway is happening throughout the entire year. If you are a fan of Gannon Athletics and you come to our podcast in person, you get an opportunity to enter yourself into a giveaway at the end of the year for a golden ticket. What's that golden ticket, you might ask? Well, it's one lucky fan next year is going to get free basketball and football season tickets plus reserved seating at every single Gannon home event. Again, how to enter: be at the podcast in person every single week. If you show proof of purchase, you get one entry into that golden ticket giveaway. So the more entries that you have, the better chances you have to win. We've been getting a lot of people coming, a lot of interested people that want to have those season tickets for next year. So make sure to come every single week because it gives you more chances to win. Hey, speaking of winning, if you're not in person right now at Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant and you're a fan of Gannon, you need to get here right now because tonight we have a giveaway that we're doing in person only, a football signed jersey by many of our football student athletes. We'll be giving away that at the end of the episode for any Gannon fan who's in attendance tonight. So make sure that you head down here right now so you can be entered into that drawing for a free football signed jersey. For those of you who don't believe me, here it is, the Gannon gold, and all those signatures are on the front of the jersey. Got the number 24 here with a nice maroon and gold jersey for you. So there's that giveaway. Be in person so that you can win that and hang that up on your wall or wear it to Gannon football games for the remainder of the year. All right, in just a couple of minutes, we're going to get into women's basketball and their excitement over Free Throw-a-thon, which is happening tomorrow. It's the first of many Gannon fundraising events directed towards athletics that's happening over the next course of a couple of weeks. So we're going to be highlighting many of those as we go throughout the podcast. But before we get to that, a lot of us, myself included, some of our athletic administration, needed a bit of a retraining as to how to shoot a free throw. The women's basketball student athletes, well, they do it for a living. Carissa Dunham nearly made 200 in a row last year. But we're not that lucky. So how do you get the art of shooting a free throw down? Take a look.
Throw-a-thon coming up on Friday. I figured I'd show you guys a couple ways that you should not shoot your free throw. A lot of times when people shoot their free throw, they have bad form. Their shoulders are all messed up, not squared to the basket. Their feet are too wide or too narrow. Just shoot it up there with two hands. So that is what you do not do. It's what you will not be seeing on Friday.
Some things that helped me break the free throw-a-thon record was having my feet square, being lined up in tune with the basket, one hand here on the ball, one hand on the side, take a couple dribbles, clear your mind, and just be able to shoot a free throw. That's it.
When was the last time you shot in a free throw?
Probably like 6 months ago. I don't know, I didn't keep track.
Alrighty, let's see what you got.
I'd say put your right foot a little bit more forward than your left.
Okay.
Just make sure it's behind the black line.
Oh, that's important.
There you go. And when you go ahead and shoot it, you had a good form, but make sure it comes off with your right. Don't push with 2 hands. Make sure it comes off with your right hand. It's just a guide hand. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, I don't know what else to change. Your form looks really good. Come on. Yeah! Good job, guys. Way to be good at coaching. Good job. Woo!
Joining us now on the program is free throw head coach of Gannett women's basketball, Brie Claxton, who was one of the people who helped put that together. I'll tell you what, you make it a lot easier than it looks. Carrie did a great job of being the guinea pig from our athletic administration department, but admittedly, I don't think I would have done a better job. You did a really good job of teaching her.
Thank you.
I think she's got good form now.
Yeah, I think it was much better than when we first started. So.
You will not see us in action tomorrow for the free throw-a-thon, but you will see women's basketball day or annual free throw-a-thon, of course, happening tomorrow from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. at the Highmark Events Center. And for those of you who don't know what the free throw-a-thon is, Bree, you've been a part of a bunch of these now going into another year for you. Take us through what the free throw-a-thon is and kind of how you run it year in, year out.
Yeah, so the free throw-a-thon is something we do it every single year. It's basically a big fundraiser that we do for our trip that we take each year. So we've been on some cool trips like Puerto Rico, Montana, Canada, and then this year we're going to Hawaii, which we're all super duper excited about. But basically you ask people to pledge money to you. We try to raise as much as possible, and you go in and you shoot 100 free throws and you try to make as many as possible. And if people say, oh, hey, I'll donate $1 a shot. If I make 96 out of 100, then they'll give me $96.
That's pretty neat. So there's a little bit of pressure, but also, of course, it's all for a great cause. And Hawaii, the trip this year, you have a busy start to the season. We'll get into some of the free throw-a-thon specifics in a moment, but it's a busy season for women's basketball this year. As we know, you have the CCA Tip-Off Classic, which you're hosting at the beginning of November. You have your trip to Hawaii. So there's just a lot of, I'm sure, of excitement around the team about what's going on at the beginning of the year, in addition to the hopes and aspirations you surely have for down the road in March.
Right. Yeah. We got a lot going on. We're excited to get started and just, hope to enjoy the season with a lot of exciting things coming up.
So before we get to the free throw-a-thon, I do want to ask about the CCA. I mean, you've been such a big proponent as well as your coaches and all your other student athletes about getting this to Erie. You've been a part of a couple of them as well, whether it be in Vancouver, Canada. You went out west last year or a couple of years ago to be a part of this as well. Take me through what that experience was like and maybe what fans can expect for the CCA coming up in November. Yeah,
so, fans, you can expect good competition. They like to have, some of the top teams in these events. So it's always good to kind of like gauge where you're at early in the season, playing against these good teams. It can, just kind of helps you see where you're at, get a good start to your season, or kind of see what you need to work on moving through. And obviously, like, the beginning of the season is not where you want to be at your best. So you just kind of take it and move forward and just get better. So.
All right, so let's talk free throw-a-thon. Last year's winner, Carissa Dunham, set the record, nearly 200 consecutive free throws made. She's sitting this one out so she can give other people a chance tomorrow. I think
she's just being nice.
That's kind of the understanding that we have for tomorrow. But is there more pressure for this than there is in-game to shoot free throws? Like, what's the differential in pressure when it comes to free throw-a-thon compared to games?
Yeah, honestly, I would say I'm way more nervous shooting these 100 free throws than I am, like, in a game. I mean, if, like, it's a serious part of the game or something, obviously there's some pressure there. But these is, like, you're trying to make as many as possible so that you can, well, A, beat your teammates, and then B, obviously you make some money every single time you see that ball go through the net. So that's, like, an added pressure, I guess.
What's the record for those who don't know that you have? How many have you made?
So last year I made 112 in a row. So that's my best so far.
It is. There's got to be a lot that goes into that to make that many in a row.
Yeah,
right? It just doesn't seem feasible.
Right, I know. Yeah, thinking about it, I'm like, wow, that's a lot. But
yeah. And it is cool because, of course, you're one of several teams that are doing different fundraising efforts. Women's lacrosse tomorrow is going to be hosting Dunk-It Coach. Baseball's planning a home run derby. Softball's done many things as well. There are just so many cool events and whatnot. And I do think it probably is exciting to see the community support as well. We had season ticket renewals just a couple of days ago, people coming back in droves for that. the community always shows out, but I'm sure for you, events like these, it's cool to get to see people being able to support this team.
Yes, absolutely. We're very grateful for just the kind of like community and support that we get from all of our fans around us. You know, they want to support us no matter what, and they want to support every sports team. So it's just awesome that people like to do that for us athletes.
All right, so bold prediction time. Who do you think is coming away with the win this year, and how many in a row do you think the best number will be?
I don't know.
You can say yourself.
Well, we're all shoot pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. I think Maddie Wheatley's got like 99 the past couple of years in a row.
Okay.
So maybe she can break that 100 mark.
Has there been anyone in practice that's been just dominating? Because I'm sure you've practiced this a few times.
Yeah, I mean, we mostly practice free throws on our own.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I think you'll see some good things from a lot of people for sure. But, yeah, maybe keep your eye on Bella. I think she'll do good.
Bella. Well,
you'll get to talk to her here.
Let's get Bella up here in just a moment, Bree. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll get Bella up here in just a moment as Bree steps aside. Great stuff. You can go ahead and go eat now. We'll bring Bella up here as we continue along here. The free throw-a-thon again happening tomorrow. That QR code on the bottom of your screen is how you can help support women's basketball. And if you go to Give Campus, you can support all of the teams that we have and so many of the great efforts that they are a part of each and every single day. Again, our thanks to Dr. Iwanenko for coming on the podcast. He's jetting out here, but great show so far tonight. All right, Bella Deer joining us on the show. Bree just said to keep the eye on you for free throw-a-thon tomorrow, so no pressure at all.
That's a lot of pressure coming from Bree.
I'll ask your prediction in a little bit here, but this is for you an opportunity for your second free throw-a-thon. We saw last year how successful it was, and I'm sure for you it's cool to get to see the community support and people being able to support a trip to Hawaii this year, which is a pretty cool destination.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, coming in last year, I didn't really know how the community was going to support us, but walking in, there were a ton of people in the stands, ton of people offering oh, if you make this much, I'll give you this much. It's awesome seeing the community support for us.
Take me through what last year was for you as a freshman. It's still a veteran team, right? You only have one incoming freshman in Katie Bowl, but what was that experience like going through the entire season with this team? Because we hear all the time about Coach Wright's culture and how wonderful it is to get a chance to play for him. What was that experience like for you coming in for the first time last year?
Yeah, it's playing for Coach Wright has been awesome. I mean, he's very wise as a coach, and he always says he wants us to be better basketball players, but also be better people and stuff. And so the culture that the older girls have established too has been awesome. I mean, you can tell they've all been together for a while, and they want us to grow with them and be stronger, and that helps us on the court as well. So it's been awesome.
I'm sure it's been cool to learn from them as well too.
Definitely.
You have Kate Ratliff, who is with you tonight. Bree, of course. There are so many other veterans, including some who graduated last year. How much do you try to pick their brain and just get some of their knowledge from what they've learned with this program?
Definitely. I mean, Kate and Bree and a bunch of the other girls are awesome players. So just learning from them, seeing them play has been awesome. And then even just being around them as people, they're awesome people. So just kind of learning how they act and whatnot. So
when we get to the free throw-a-thon, we've probably already seen a lot of videos on social media, whether it's from athletics or women's basketball, about getting you ready. There's a question that I don't even know what the answer to it is. I was roped into a video yesterday promoting the free throw-a-thon. Can you explain to me what the word bussin' means?
Okay, so I actually have never seen the original bussin' video. So you guys are my original. Either. But I mean, bussin', if something's good, you're oh wow, that's bussin'.
Is that a new? I'm going to sound like an old guy. I'm 26 years old. Is that the new generation lingo or whatnot, something like that?
I'd say so. Yeah,
so when we get to media day, I'm going to require that this team that does a bussin' segment. I'm just going to say that's something that you'll see if you get a chance to follow women's basketball social media, and make sure to follow all of our team's social medias. They do a great job. All right, so I'll ask you for your prediction, Bella. Bree thinks that you have a great shot. Carissa, of course, not participating this year because she wants to give other people a chance, quite frankly.
She tell you that?
She almost made 200 in a row last year.
That's crazy.
But who do you think is going to get it this year, and what do you think the most consecutive free throws made, what will that number be?
I'm giving it to Bree. I mean, last year she was 112. Yeah. I think she's going to beat it though this year. I'm going to give her I'm gonna give her 120, 123.
Wow. So
Yeah.
set the over-under at 122.5. Who do you think is the dark horse potentially tomorrow? The one that no one's expecting to perform well that you think could really be a big factor in tomorrow's event?
Yeah, I think Jordan Popick. I mean, last year I think she was pretty high last year, but I think definitely working out with her this year and seeing her free throws this year, I think she's gonna surprise everyone.
Any members of the forward group that you think could be, I know you just mentioned Jordan, but of the forward group that you think could be feisty as well, shooting free throws, the ones that you wouldn't expect to have high free throw percentages?
Oh gosh, I think we're all collectively pretty good at free throws. I mean, Lauren got, I think, 96, 98 last year. So she'll definitely be up there. Maddie, she's a really good shooter as well. So I expect big things from the forward group for sure.
So this question, a lot of people ask with professional sports, like could the normal person hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, or could they catch a pass from a quarterback? The average person, if you put them in a free throw-a-thon, you gave them 100 free throws, how many on average do you think the typical non-basketball player would hit?
Oh gosh, I'm saying around 40. Okay. That's kind of generous, honestly.
It's generous. Wow. Okay.
I think so.
So you're thinking in the 30s.
Yeah, high 30s.
What's the biggest problem for people missing free throws? I mean, we just showed the video of form, but is it form? Is it just nervousness? What is it?
I think, honestly, lack of focus. Because, I mean, it's hard to shoot 100 in a row just consecutively. I mean, I feel like even for us sometimes, like, our minds kind of wander. But, like, that's all free throws are is, like, focusing. So
yeah, no doubt. It's going to be a fun event tomorrow. Again, 12:30 to 2:30. You can watch the live stream and, of course, donate to women's basketball and all of our athletic programs. I want to mention there are so many other programs that are doing so many other fundraising efforts, and we will be highlighting them as well. Of course, the annual free throw-a-thon tomorrow. Bella, good luck. I appreciate you being generous towards Bree, but now you both have each other winning, so there's at least some stuff on the table there.
So we'll be competing now against each other.
Great stuff, Bella. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Bella is going to be one of several Gannon women's basketball student athletes that will be a part of the free throw-a-thon coming up tomorrow from 12:30 to 2:30. I think you're good, Kate. I think you're good. Kate Ratliff was asking if she wants to be a part of if she needed to be a part of the show. We're going to let her enjoy her food here tonight. But again, that free throw-a-thon tomorrow from 12:30 to 2:30, part of our festivities. Here's a look again at what is on tap for this week. The games this weekend happening in rapid-fire order, including several games that are happening on Saturday afternoon and into the evening. Couple of announcements that we want to pay respect to with respect to Gannon Athletics in the last couple of days or so. I want to give a token of congratulations to the late Aaron Cox, who just this past week was selected as the lone Gannon Golden Knight to the PSAC 75 Greatest Male Athletes. Aaron, a standout baseball performer during his time with Gannon in the mid-2000s, was just an incredible embodiment of a student athlete, and we offer our tip of the cap to him, the late Aaron Cox, for his incredible achievements with the Gannon Golden Knights. As we've been talking about, coming up in November 7th through the 9th is the 2025 CCA Women's D2 Tip-Off Classic. It is presented by AHN Sports Medicine and the AHN Pavilion. It's brought to you by the Erie Sports Commission. We're excited about it. It's coming up really soon. We're about a month and a half away. The tickets are on sale now, so head over to where you get your Gannon tickets on www.gannonsports.com, and there will be an option for you to purchase tickets to the CCA Tip-Off Classic. Really excited for that. It's going to be a wonderful event, of course, and you'll get to see some of the top teams in the nation from a year ago, including your Gannon Golden Knights, in action throughout the 3-day tournament. So looking forward to that as we get ready for November, and a lot more to come on the CCA Tip-Off Classic, too. We'll have some live guests get ready for the event. It's going to be a busy month of November as we look ahead to both that tournament as well as the WWPA championships that will be hosted at Spire Institute. All right, as we continue on throughout the United podcast, brought to you by our friends at John Russell Hospitality, a reminder that every time you come to the podcast in person as a fan of Gannon, you are entered with proof of purchase into an opportunity to win a free season ticket voucher for next year in 2026-2027 as part of our golden ticket giveaway. If you come to the podcast every single week and you show proof of purchase, you get entered one time into that golden ticket giveaway. And at the end of the year, we'll be doing a drawing for one lucky fan that will win a free basketball and football season ticket package for 2026-27, plus reserved seating at every single Gannon athletics event for that year. So make sure to stay tuned for that as we roll along throughout our podcast season, and join us in person too. It's a wonderful venue here at Pier 6. We'll be switching around locations throughout the entire year, but you really can't beat it. The sunset happening right now is a packed restaurant and just great lively atmosphere here at Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant. All right, another cool video segment to bring to you as we get ready to wrap up our United podcast for this September 18th edition. It revolves around volleyball. As many of you know, head coach Matt Darling is also a professor in the English department. He teaches almost on a daily basis, and in addition to teaching his student athletes, he teaches students as well. And so tonight we're introducing a segment that's called Matt's Book of the Month. Every single month during the season, Coach Matt Darling will introduce a book, whether it be nonfiction, fiction, or a novel, that relates to a student athlete perspective, and maybe you at home should read as well. He kicks us off with a really great one for our first installment. Here's our first ever episode of Matt's Book of the Month.
The book that I chose to start talking about was Roy Hobbs's, The Story of Roy Hobbs, which is The Natural by Bernard Malamud. It was originally published in 1952, and as people might know, it's about baseball. I think it is one of the original stories that mythologized baseball, where Roy is the sort of like knight. He plays for the Knights. And he goes through a bunch of challenges and quests, and his bat is like the Excalibur, and so a lot of people read this as the sort of like ultimate myth and symbol novel. And because it's associated with baseball, I think it really is one of the great sports novels. One of the things that the book sort of warns us against is that you can't just take your talent for granted, and you can't just rely on your talent. He gets himself into a bad love situation where he, of course, falls for the wrong woman, the femme fatale, instead of the woman who would bring out the best in him, let's say. And that woman, whose name is Iris Lemon, says to him that we have two lives, the life we learn with and then the life that we live after that. So this idea that when you're young, you're supposed to learn all these things, and then this makes you a better person. But by the end of the novel, when Roy continues just to make mistake after mistake, he realizes, I never did learn, and so now I have to suffer all over again. So I think that, especially for a coach or for a student athlete, like anybody who's in the realm of athletics, like we have to understand that, especially if you're a young athlete, this is your time to learn. Like you're going to do your learning now in this context of sports, and the lessons that you learn, you're going to live with those after that. And so I think that those life lessons that we get as young people, as in the student athlete realm, this is what sets us up for success down the road.
Really cool segment for head coach Matt Darling and the Gannon volleyball program for his book of the month. And we'll do another one, of course, in October, November, and December as well throughout the season. So just something cool that the volleyball team is putting on this year with Matt Darling's book of the month. The Natural is his book of the month. You can order it wherever you get your books today. All right, we're getting ready to wrap up our show, but I promised you in our show rundown that we would have a top 5 plays of the week. We're saving probably the best for last. We haven't had this segment for the start of the year because we haven't had many home events, but now it's back. It's time for another edition of our top 5 plays of the week that was in the previous 7 games. Some captured by our cameras, others captured in games away from home. Let's take a look at our top 5 plays of the week, and we begin with number 5. This is football, their homecoming game against East Stroudsburg from Saturday, and one Tristan Keenan, who was just absolutely tremendous in the first few weeks of the season. Take a look. Takes the handoff to the right-hand side. He makes one cut. He's going to make a little juke cut here. Whoop, get off me, he says. 3 defenders he takes with him as he rumbles into the end zone for the touchdown. That's called the big boy run, folks. Marshawn Lynch would be proud. We're talking with Dr. Iwanenko earlier. James Cook would be proud. And maybe Jalen Warren, too, if he gets on his high horse for the Steelers. But great job, Tristan Keenan, clocking in at number 5 at our top 5 plays of the week. Number 4 comes from women's soccer in their victory against Roberts Wesleyan just last night. Look at Brooklyn Respecki with the left foot. Is that a foot or is that a cannon? I really couldn't tell. Take a look one more time. A little one-touch. I mean, come on. It's like a postage stamp. You can't make a save on that. She had an HT in the victory for Gannon women's soccer, who remains undefeated on the season. They've been dominating. At number 3, this is men's soccer from Friday night of homecoming against Ashland and Jack Kenyon. Yeah, freshman jump into the air. The GWG for number 14. Number 14 on your score sheet, number 1 in your heart. He had the game-winning goal for Gannon as they got their first win of the season on Friday. Here's number 2, their most recent game against Post. Penalty kick for Post in the 75th minute of the game, but Samuel Alacron, who just won PSAC West Defensive Soccer Player of the Week for reasons like this, laying out the mitts and making the stop, saying not today, and preserving a tie for GU. He's been great in net, has Samuel. But at number 1, another GWG, and it belongs to Ella Fidel, who finally finds the back of the cage against Cal. What's most impressive about this, she's doing this while falling. Finally gets it past the defender with that right leg, and then arms up to the heavens with the goal. Again, in women's soccer, yeah, they got that. Ella with a great goal. They get the win. Does women's soccer 1-0 over Cal on homecoming weekend in what was a doubleheader sweep for men's and women's soccer as well. Also, of course, a shout out to Morgan Synan, who in that game broke the Gannon record for most career shutouts with 16 in her illustrious career. So congratulations to Morgan on that great achievement. Those have been your top 5 plays of the week that was for this last 7 days of action. We'll, of course, have another top 5 of plays of the week next week. Going to be a tough list to top. Pretty good start to the top 5 play rundown for this year. They've done a really good job of our student athletes, as they always do every single week. All right, that's going to do it for our show tonight. But, of course, we will return next Thursday, September 25th. It will be our final show at Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant before we move to another John Russell Hospitality location. And again, we just want to give a big shout out to John Russell Hospitality. They do so much for us each and every single week in promoting this United podcast. They have great food, great atmosphere, and of course, the perfect place for you to enjoy a night out.
At John Russell Hospitality, every restaurant tells a story of flavor, community, and unforgettable moments. From handcrafted meals to welcoming spaces, we bring people together around a table. John Russell Hospitality, where great food meets genuine companionship. Make sure to visit one of our 6 locations today.
And so we will see you back at Pier 6 Rooftop Bar and Restaurant right here next Thursday, September 25th at 6 p.m. for the United Podcast. Again, make sure to join us either online or in person. If you join in person, you get a chance for that golden ticket giveaway. If you join us online, you get a chance to be a part of Gannon Athletics each and every single week. Our many thanks to women's basketball for joining us in advance of the free throw-a-thon, and of course to President Dr. Walter Iwanenko, who had a great conversation with me at the beginning of the show. All of our shows are available for on-demand playback on YouTube and our social media channels in case you missed any of these conversations. But looking forward to another great week of Gannon Athletics action, and we know you are too. Continue to enjoy the great weather, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Make sure to make it out for men's soccer this Saturday afternoon, and we'll see you all back here at Pier 6 next Thursday at 6 o'clock for more great stuff on the United Podcast. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you all next week.